The time has come for what me and Darius specifically
yes,
have been
it
waiting for,
has.
the 2014 NBA preview. I know a lot of our listeners, from what I've heard, including Temple, who thank you for that call, Temple. We do appreciate it here at C4 Sports, have been waiting for.
Yeah,
it's going to be a very interesting
And I guess I'm going to be
season.
the Kobe Bryant talker again with the NBA, because I know I've said a couple of my picks, and you're like,
No,
so
I think you don't have crazy picks, you have bold picks, and we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Well, right now we got
Yeah.
50
Yeah, we
minutes
might as
left in the
well
show,
just go into
50 minutes for the NBA.
is it going to be enough time for you, Darius?
Yeah, let me.
Is it going to be enough
Do you
time?
have, because folks, at the start of the show, Darius did not have his conference finals set for the East yet. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot right here in a second, because we're going to start it out with an Eastern Conference preview, guys. Your 8 teams to make the playoffs, the 8 seeds. I'll start it off. My number 8 seed is my kind of surprise team. We're going to do that too. Bold predictions, players, and teams. My surprise upstart team is my breakout player of the year, Kyrie Irving, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've coming in at the 8th seed. Okay. Number 7 is one of my favorite players, Jay Smoove, Josh Smith, and his new look Detroit Pistons. When they can get Brandon Jennings, I see them being very dangerous.
Yep.
Number 6 is Smoove's former team, the Atlanta Hawks. They still have a lot of players that can make some leeway, but ultimately I don't see them doing too much other than a first round exit. 5 is when we finally get in. This is the heat of the East. The rest doesn't really matter except for the top 5 teams from at least what we've been talking about before the show. We got the Battle of New York, the runners-up, the New York Knicks at number 5. Carmelo Anthony has come out and said he wants to be a free agent after the season. We'll see if that affects his play this year. Number 4, I have the winner of the Battle of New York this year, the New Look Nets, with recently Jersey retired legend Jason Kidd at the head coach, with recent acquisitions Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett leading the way. Number 3, we have my boy LeBron and the 2-time defending NBA champion, 3-time defending Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat. I got him at 3, though, because the top 2 teams, I believe, are the 2 who are going to be battling it out at the end of the year. We got the Indiana Pacers at 2, and if they can stay healthy, that is the key, I think. The Bulls are the best team in the East. If Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, among others, can stay healthy, I don't see the Heat or the Pacers being able to beat them. So that's my top 8. We'll go into a little bit more depth when you guys give your top 8. Darius, let's hear what you got over there.
Well, let me start off my comments, first of all, by saying 2 things. Number 1, all this is based on Dwayne Wade not being healthy. If Dwayne Wade is the Dwayne Wade that we know, then the Heat are going to 3-peat. But I don't see that happening, so that changes everything up. Second of all, shout out to the people who have been listening. I've been promoting this part heavy to people in person, over the phone, Twitter, Facebook. Matt, I've seen you, of course, retweet some of it. So shout out to the people who've been hitting me up. I got my cousin Darnell in Arizona listening. I got people, my boy Dwayne text me, giving me his bold predictions. My homie Stan repping Inkster, Michigan. So shout out to everybody. But now we're going to get into my 8. I'll go from the bottom up like you did. Number 8, going with John Wall and the Washington Wizards.
That's a good pick, I think, especially with that trade today.
Yes, sir. They just made a trade. They just got Marcin Gortat from Phoenix, and he was traded along with Shannon Brown, Kendall Marshall, and Malcolm Lee.
They had to give up Okafor, I believe.
Yeah. They traded him to the Wizards for Emeka Okafor. And the Wizards also got the first-round pick. Not the Wizards. The Suns also got a first-round pick from the Wizards. So the Suns have 4 picks for next year. But it's protected until, for the top 12. So what that means, folks, is if the pick is within the top 12, they don't get the pick till next year. And the years after that is protected top 10 for the next 3 years. But like I said, number 8, Washington Wizards. Number 7, I'm going to go with Detroit. You mentioned your boy Josh Smith. You had him at number 7. Shout out Uncle C-Bill. That's what I call Chauncey Billups. I feel like he's like an older uncle to me. You know what I'm saying? Number 6, I'm going to go with your boy Kyrie. Got Cleveland coming in at number 6. My boy Dwayne said that's his little sleeper team to make the playoffs. Number 5, I'm with you again. New York Knicks. Carmelo Anthony, where you at? I got people I know who on me all the time. My boy Dom back home. I got some people out here. Bryant, Jawan, they always on me. Carmelo's a superstar. No, he's not. Now, that's a discussion I could definitely have for 2 hours. He's not a superstar. And I feel like the fire is going to be on him big time. But we can talk about that, bold predictions. It's just a lot going on. I'm so excited right now. Number 4, we got the Brooklyn Nets. Shout out KG, Paul Pierce, all them boys, Jason Kidd. Number 3, and I had to switch this up because it was difficult for me. I got Chicago number 3. Derrick Rose, man. If y'all stay healthy, y'all might be about something. Number 2, I got LeBron. Much respect to LeBron. He's going to Greg Oden, I think, is a big move long as he stays healthy. Dwayne Wade, as far as I'm concerned, is a bum now. He's just a regular black man with a jersey. And number 1, I got somehow the Indiana Pacers. I don't know how I got this, but if Roy Hibbert plays how he did 2 years ago, and Paul George plays like he did last year, and Danny Granger gets healthy, he's not even going to play the start of the season because he has a calf injury that's messing with him right now. If they figure that out, I think that they'll be number 1 in the East.
What people have to understand who are listening is Darius was literally sweating over this about for the full hour we meet before the show.
Exactly.
I've never seen you just more concerned over something than the seeding of the top 3 teams.
Well, it would change if they did. It would change if they did how the NHL used to do and they reseeded after each round. You could have just picked however you wanted to. But
I mean, that seeding changes so much of everything, for the matchups. But y'all go ahead and say what y'all got to say, because y'all know I got a whole bunch of talking points, so y'all go ahead.
We'll go to the non-NBA experts in here. In the East, I have at number 8 the Washington Wizards.
Okay.
And I looked at a stat, and I think the key to this season for them is John Wall. They played 500 ball with him in the lineup last year, and that's all you need, honestly, to be the 8th seed in the East. At number 7, I still have the Hawks. I still think they have enough weapons to make it in, even though Josh Smith left in the offseason. Number 6, I have the upstart Cavaliers. That's kind of my upstart team. I like what they're doing. I think that backcourt will become something dynamite with Deion Waiters and Kyrie in the backcourt. Number 5, I got the Knicks, like you two. Carmelo, I think he is a superstar. Honestly,
we're going to stop this right here. We're going to stop this right here. First of all, okay, see the conversation that's happening. This is the NBA preview. We're going to talk about it. There are certain characteristics you got to have to be a superstar. I will say this about Carmelo. He is the best offensive player in the league.
Yes.
But he's not a leader. He's never been the leader of his team. You can go back to Denver. Chauncey Billups, Kenyon Martin, Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, all been leaders. Andre Miller, last year with the Knicks, Jason Kidd. He's never been a leader. He's trying this year. He talked about he just had a heart-to-heart with J.R. Smith, who I like to call Earl because that's his real name, with Earl Smith, telling him that he needs to be more mature, but we'll see how that works. Number 2, Carmelo has never had a personal achievement till this previous year. He won his first scoring title his 10th year in the league. He's never had a personal achievement before. He never won All-Star MVP. He never was an NBA MVP. He never won a scoring title. He was never even first team on NBA.
He only made it out of the first round.
He made it out of the first round
twice.
And
that goes to the conference finals in 09.
Because that's my final point. Playoff success. Yeah. He struggled. In 10 years, he got out of the first round 2 times. Now, I'm not saying you got to make the finals every year, but if you're a superstar, you can at least make it out the first round.
Yeah.
He can't do it. Because he's not a superstar. He's an elite player, but it's the superstar class, and then it's the second tier. He's second tier, but that man is not a superstar. I cannot let that slide with that man. That term is used so loosely. It's used so everybody, they want to put everybody as superstar. You can be a superstar and you can be elite. Michael Jordan set the standard for a superstar. It's a global thing. It's stuff off the court as well as on the court. Carmelo has on the court scoring, but with success, team success, he doesn't have it. And that's why I can't give him that superstar card.
I think we're going to touch back on this conversation as the NBA season goes on, because it is one that we could have for 2 hours because it's just such an interesting topic. Carmelo Anthony is such an interesting enigma is what I like to call him for the NBA. But, Adam, we'll let you finish out your picks. We're going to come back to that. Keep it here on C4 Sports for the rest of the semester because I'm sure we all have a lot to say about Carmelo Anthony. I do. Obviously, Darius does. I'm sure Adam does as well. Same with Ryan. But, Adam, finish out your Eastern preview right here.
All right. I have the Chicago Bulls, kind of the campus team here at WIU at 4.
That's surprisingly low, I'd say.
Yeah, you shot me with that one.
Yeah, I'm
honestly,
a little taken aback.
I'm not sure about how they'll hold up injury-wise.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident in D-Rose. I've loved what I've seen in the preseason from him.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Lowell could stay healthy. Kirk has already dealt with some concussion issues already, and he dealt with some lingering issues in the playoffs last year. So I think that's holding them back a little. Tibbs will keep it close.
Tibbs is Tibbs.
Yeah, Tibbs
don't really have to
Tibbs.
say more than that.
Yeah.
Just an interesting fact about the Bulls, going off what you said, just real quick. It used to be they score 100 points at a Bulls game. Everybody there gets a Big Mac, free Big Mac. Now it's, I believe, because Tibbs is so defensive-oriented, if you hold the other team under 80, everybody gets a free Big Mac. Just a little fun fact I heard the other day.
This is a fun fact. At number 3, I got the Nets. I really like what they did. More than some people, what they did in the offseason, bringing in Ray Allen, Jason Kidd as the head coach, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. I like their 5. I mean, you got Brook Lopez as center, KG at the power forward, Pierce at the small forward, and then you got Johnson and Williams in the backcourt. At number 2, I do have the 2-time defending champion Heat. I don't think they did enough to keep that number 1 spot in the East this year.
Yep.
Number 1, I do have the Pacers. I think they did enough to an extent. One of the most underrated pickups this year in the offseason was, I think, Luis Scola.
Yeah, that's a very good pickup.
You don't hear
He's a quality guy. He's a 15-10 guy.
Yeah.
He'll give you consistency.
He's a walking double-double.
Right, he is. And I really like Granger coming back if he can.
That's what I said for the Pacers.
He can produce 15 points a game. He can really help that team.
Yeah.
I like that. Other than maybe the Bulls a little low, I think you're onto something there with that East preview.
I don't know why y'all keep saying Atlanta Hawks though, but I don't know. Maybe they must have paid y'all or something. I don't know what y'all see over there.
Well, I got the Atlanta Hawks in here too, but here's just because of what they've done in the past, and I'll get to it. I have. This is just because of tradition, I guess, and I like the coach that's coming in for the team. I have Boston 8, Cleveland 7, Atlanta 6, the Knicks 5, Brooklyn 4. With Adam with what the Nets are doing, but they are still going to struggle here and there. Indiana 3, Bulls 2, with the Heat 1. I mean, except for the tops, I mean, we've all kind of had the same. Yeah. The bottom I just threw in because I want to see if they can do it. I've heard some hype over the offseason. I guess my bold predictions are when it comes down to the conference finals. Yeah. And I will have to defend my choice for one of them.
Gonna get real
that's what me and Darius are waiting on
right now. We are just on the basic.
So I have those 8, and I mean 3, 4, and 5 could switch so easily for me, but that's how I wanted to because of the matchups. I want to see if when they face.
Exactly.
Well, Ryan, you said you have a bombshell to drop on us that you were waiting to tell all of us. We don't know what it is. You were.
I forgot about that. Okay. I don't know if it's big headlines or anything. I've heard. I don't know what he's done in the past. Mm-hmm. I was brought up with PTI. I have my opinion on it. I forgot about this. I hope this doesn't take too much time out of it.
No, we'll make it quick. Make it quick.
Jason Collins is unsigned. Is unsigned.
Mm-hmm.
Are you first of all surprised? And second of all, is it because of what happened with the offseason of coming out openly, the first athlete to come out openly gay in one of the major sports and still playing, not retired? Is because of that, because they don't want to deal with the media?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, is this setting a bad standard for other players that are in the closet not wanting to come out because of what's going on?
That's a very good question. Personal feelings aside, because that really shouldn't factor, because I'm not a GM, first of all, and that's right now is not really the correct form for that. Am I surprised? No. But I don't feel that it's because of him coming out. Because he's a bum. All right, he's been a bum his whole career. I remember when he played with the New Jersey Nets, and Shaq used to light this man up. He's been a bum. He's averaged like 2 points and 2 rebounds like his career. That's horrible. So there would be no way I would pick him up. I thought he was a bum before that whole situation. Yeah. Does it set a bad example? I don't feel so because of the things that I just said. But it's interesting that you said from PTI, because I remember they said at the time, like, bro, how is it when it's a good player? I think that's what really when we'll find out how it is.
Yeah.
Well, he would be good coming off the bench if your big guy needed a break for like a 2-3 minute break to come in. Just to see him not signed, I think says a lot, because he's been signed all this time. And then it finally comes that he comes out and then he's not signed. I think it's setting. To me, I think it's setting a bad example.
This is the thing right here. The reason you want him signed is because of the cause that he represents.
Yeah.
But the reason you should be signing the NBA is for your production. Yeah. If he wants to be signed for the cause he represents, then he should start a foundation or a charity. This is the NBA. He can't play. He's not good. So I don't care what you representing. You can represent Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian. You can stand out here with all your clothes are Jesus shirts. If you suck, I'm not signing you. Because I'm about winning ball games. No, I'm not, because he's horrible. He'd be a great guy. That's cool. Then we can eat lunch. Once again, at McDonald's, the 2 apple pies for $1. But I'm not doing that. If you're not good, I don't care what you're representing. You suck. I'm not picking you on the ball team. So I feel like people are trying to say, and not just you in particular, but people are trying to have him sign because of what he represents. I don't feel like what he represents doesn't have nothing to do with how bad he is. Because as Charles Barkley always says, he said that everybody basically in the NBA has played with gay players, and they know it and accept it. I think that the locker room, you might be a little hesitant at first, and then maybe after the production, I think it's going to be more the media attention that comes in that could defer.
That's why they don't want to sign him. And I think Wilbon said that with or Kornheiser, one of those two, said with the media, kind of like a Tebow, you're going to distract from what needs to be done on the court. But I was just saying, as a bench player, having him as a bench player, like play a couple minutes, that I'm surprised like he's not signed.
Yeah, I think it is mainly because he's not very good, but secondary it is because of what he represents. I think a team doesn't want to take a chance, especially on a guy who's going to be at the best, maybe a 9th or 10th man off the bench, so they don't want to take that risk with the controversy, both with the media and maybe some players as well in the locker room. We heard a couple, more than a couple, a lot of negative responses from not just NBA players, but NFL players as well over Twitter. So I think if you're looking at Jason Collins and somebody, I don't know, just some random other average big man.
Like Kwame Brown.
Yeah. If you're going to go between them, you're going to take Kwame Brown because he's less controversy.
Exactly.
So, like Darius said, I'm interested to see what happens when it is a star player because I may be a conservative at heart, but I do support gay marriage and all that. I'm for gay rights, so I'm happy to see it. But at the same time,
I just thought it would be. I wanted your
that's a great question.
I wanted your opinion. I just didn't know if it was.
Yeah, I don't think it is directly because of that. Right. Like Darius said, he is not. He averaged. I think it is like maybe 2.0 points per game for the Wizards. I think it was last year.
He didn't do anything like last year.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. Like, I'm happy you brought that up because personally about gay marriage and all that, I said this ain't the correct form, but you said how you feel, so I'm saying how I feel. I'm not gonna get too far into it. I don't mess with the whole gay marriage thing, but I do believe in treating people correctly. And so because whether you're gay or not, personally, I'm not fully comfortable with it. If it was a gay teammate in the locker room, I personally would object to it maybe a little bit. But if you're a good player, that's what take precedence to me over it. If you can play, then you're more welcome aboard because winning games is not about sexuality. It's not about your personal religious beliefs. It's not about your color, nothing like that. So it's about winning games to me. If it's a good player and this same thing happens, I really don't know how I would feel about it because I could play both sides of the fence. I could play how I personally feel about it, and I could play, what's actually right. So I don't really know how I would feel about it if it's a good player. I could say that I would feel differently, but we never really know until that situation happens. But for this one, I really feel like he just can't really play anymore.
Yeah, I think to end it, I guess, what Darius said is true. If you can play, you can play. Like, you look at a lot of places down south, like Kentucky's crazy about their basketball, and their arena is named, I have a problem with this, their arena is named after Rupp Arena. He was a full-on racist.
Exactly.
And they have their arena named after him. I've been down to Kentucky many times. Not to say everybody from Kentucky, I do not want to generalize, is a racist, but it's definitely, that's kind of the presiding feeling down there, and they're obsessed with their basketball, which is predominantly a black team, black teammates and players, and they love them to death. When they won the championship a few years ago, I'm pretty sure they had one white guy, that one freshman who came off the bench.
Wilcher.
Yeah, and that was about it. So if you can play, that's going to, I think, override any overwhelming hate, because sports seems to bring people together for better or worse. So if you can play, if you're good, I don't think people will care, especially your fans and your teammates. I don't think they'll care as long as you win. That was a very good question there, Ryan.
That's why I didn't bring it in so you guys could talk about it. So let's start off with the West. I'm going to say my 8 for West Coast real quick.
All right.
Or are we going to, is that how you were going to do it? Okay. I have Lakers. I know people say they're going to be the worst team in the West Coast. I have the Lakers.
Ryan. The Lakers.
I have Lakers, and then my team that I want so bad to do good, and I'm probably going to pay attention to them the most this year, Minnesota. Come on, Minnesota. It's time for Rubio Love. And that's right, Rubio Love. Yes.
Little Rubio Love.
Yeah. I have Houston as 6, Clippers 5, Golden State 4, Memphis 3, Oklahoma City 2, and the Spurs 1. Western Conference, you have to beat the Spurs. That's why they're 1. because they proved that they're up there, even though they're in their old ages. They can still ball it up, and I thought they were going to beat the Heat. So that's how I have that as.
Yeah.
I'll run it through in the Western Conference. I've got the Timberwolves at 8. Nuggets at 7. I still think they're going to be relevant. They're kind of like the Hawks of the Western Conference.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I have the Spurs at 6.
Okay.
I do. And read it and weep, but I just think the other teams have more up-and-coming talent, and I think that's going to show. Pop will keep that team relevant, but I just think they don't have enough firepower anymore to contend.
Okay.
I think last year was their chance, and
Yeah, blew it.
what happened. Moving on, I've got the Grizzlies at 5. I still think they're really solid. I don't know if they get over the hump.
Right.
Number 4, I have the upstart Warriors. They're a hot pick this year again.
Yeah.
Didn't really do a lot in the offseason. They're going to ride that backcourt of Thompson and Curry, and I guess we'll see how far that takes them. I've got the Thunder at 3. I think if they can hold a little above 500 until Christmas when Westbrook comes back, I think he's really going to make that team special. I think he's the key. He always has been the key to that team. Durant's going to be Durant.
Yeah.
He's going to get you that almost 30 a game,
Yeah.
almost 10 rebounds. Westbrook makes that team go. I have the Rockets at 2. And it's kind of the whole Heat thing from when the Big Three joined up. I think Howard adds a lot of controversy to that team. I think a change of scenery was really nice for him.
Yeah.
I think he couldn't handle L.A. He couldn't handle the comparisons to Shaq or Hakeem.
And Kobe Bryant, I think, was not the right teammate for him.
Right. Yeah, Kobe bashed him for that. And I've got the other LA team, the Clippers, at 1. I think it's their time. They covered up the Lakers' banners. That's another kind of headline.
Yeah.
It's their time to shine. I'm really high on them. I'm hoping they don't let me down.
Okay, well, for Darius West, let's see. I'm struggling with the AFC right now. I'm going back and forth between Minnesota and Portland. And I know that I should make a pick, but ain't nobody going to force me to. But Minnesota, the thing about them is the last 2 years they should have been in the playoffs, and they get hurt every year.
Yeah.
So if they're healthy, I'm going to go with them. So if they're healthy, it's them. If they're not, then I got to go with my main man, Damian Lillard, and them getting the 8th spot. Number 7, I have Denver. You know, I don't like what they did firing George Karl. They don't have, the front office is not really the same. Masai Ujiri, who was their GM, he went to Toronto. George Karl is now working, I think, back with ESPN. They lost Andre Iguodala to Golden State, so I don't really see them doing too much anything. Memphis I have them at 6, and this is really where the West gets interesting, because the West to me is wide open. There's not one clear team ahead of anybody. So really 1 through 6, it could be like a 2-game difference, and it's just seeding based on conferences and your division and how well you did against each other inside there. So Memphis is 6. I got the little weak boy Dwight and his little team at 5. I don't have nothing to say about them except he's soft. The Spurs at 4. They'll be competing within there again. I got them coming in at a clean 4. Oklahoma City at 3. Got the Clippers at 2. Shout out Chris Paul. And number 1, I actually got Golden State. And like you said, they're a hot pick this year. I like what they did with Andre Iguodala. Mark Jackson is coaching better than what I thought he was going to be. And just, a few minutes ago, they gave Andrew Bogut a 3-year extension. So he won't be a free agent after this year. A lot of people were talking about a contract year. But he got a 3-year extension making $13 million per year. So, he's locked in. Hopefully that won't limit the production because, guys play bigger during contract years. If he stays healthy, and David Lee stays healthy because he had that injury late in the playoffs, then Golden State should come in real smooth at the number 1 seed. Shout out to Dez. I know he's listening too, and he wanted me to talk about the Warriors. That's your Warriors talk, man.
Well, yeah, I like what you did with your West preview there, Darius. Mine is very, very similar. I completely agree. The West is wide open. Really, for me, anybody spot 1 through 5 could come out of the West. It could be anybody. For me, I got 8, the Timberwolves. We have Kevin Love, the triple-double master, even though he can't jump more than a couple inches off the ground. If Rubio gets healthy, I think they're very dangerous. And just the fact they have not made the playoffs yet with those two, I think is terrible. So I think they do it this year. They're able to stay somewhat healthy. I got the Nuggets at 7. I think it was huge for them to let Iguodala go. I'll get to that when I get to the Warriors. The 6, I got the Grizzlies, who made it all the way to the semis. I think just their organization, I'm very critical of their organization. The Rudy Gay trade, firing Lionel Hollins. I think they're more concerned with money than winning, which I will never trust an organization that has that reputation. Yeah. Number 5, I'll come back to this in a second because I'm actually kind of with Darius on this one. I have the Warriors, but they're also my sleeper team. So your friend Dez, I'm with him on this one. I think the Warriors could possibly be number 1. I have them at 5, but they're my sleeper team. The Cavs in the East are kind of my sleeper team, but this is even more than a sleeper team. This is my breakout team because I could see them going all the way to the finals.
Exactly.
Steph Curry, and they have my boy Andre Iguodala. I've been a huge fan ever since he was on the 76ers. I've actually got a Sixers Iggy jersey, and I say he's little LeBron. He plays just like LeBron, only smaller and not quite as good. So I think that is the best pickup of the offseason is what the Warriors did with picking up Iguodala. I have them at 5. Okay. That's just because they're a little young, a little undersized. Bogut is still a question mark if he's healthy or not. Same with David Lee.
Exactly.
He's a bit inconsistent as well. I think if they get the pieces in place, they could win the West. But currently, as it says for the preseason, I have the Warriors at 5. 4, I have my boy James Harden, Fear the Beard, and Dwight Howard. I'm not a Dwight Howard fan, but I think Houston was the absolute perfect fit for him. And I expect big things from them. I got a breakout year 2 for James Harden. I think Oklahoma City is just dreading getting rid of him right now and keeping Ibaka, because that's essentially what they did was keep Ibaka over him. 3, I have the Thunder. Kevin Durant is going to have a monster year, like Adam said. He is Durant. He is the superstar, second best player in the league, even without Westbrook. I think he holds it down. For a while, I had the Thunder coming out of the West, but Darius made a good point. Their bench is just, I think, too weak to win when Jeremy Lamb is kind of your best option off the bench. And Ibaka, last year in the playoffs without Westbrook, he collapsed upon himself. He has no offensive game whatsoever. So I think Durant, like we've seen with LeBron and even Jordan before Pippen, Kobe before Gasol, he's only going to take you so far. He can't win it by himself. So I just don't think he has enough help. The Clippers... Interesting opinion I was talking to Darius and Ryan about before the show. They are probably the best team and the most talented team, and they should win the West, but I don't think they will. Blake Griffin is just too overrated a player. They have too many struggles in the playoffs, so until they can make a deep run, I'm hesitant to pick them. I got them at 10. I got the Spurs coming out of the West as the champion. Kind of like what Ryan said, I got to see somebody beat them. They got Tim Duncan, Ginobili, and I think an extremely underrated Tony Parker running the point. So they just execute so well. That's why the game 6 loss with that missed layup and poor execution down the stretch, they kind of collapsed upon themselves against the Heat, which was very surprising. I think they learned from that mistake. They're motivated. This might be Duncan, Ginobili their last year, especially together. So we'll see what happens. They don't have much left in the tank. I think they're able to make another run, though. I just don't know who in the West is going to beat them, but it is pretty wide open out there in the West. The West will be, I think, the conference to watch along with those top 5 teams in the East. Yeah. So bold predictions, breakout teams. Who's going to start this one? I've kind of said mine a little bit with my preview.
I ain't got no problem saying that. Number 1, I got a few of them. My homie, Damian Lillard, will be an all-star this season in the West. So what that means is either Russell Westbrook, Tony Parker, or Steph Curry won't make the team. Yes, I said Russell Westbrook. My mom just texted me and asked me why we're not talking about the trendsetter. That's what she likes to call him.
She's a West. Does she like how he dresses?
No, but she knows I doesn't like it, so she keeps bothering me about it.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go, Mom. You got your shout out. Now stop texting me about that dumb boy. All right. So that's bold prediction number 1. Damian Lillard will be an all-star. Number 2, this is not really a bold prediction, but it's who I had as MVP at first, and I had to change it because, as Matt told you, I changed my stuff like 8 times in like 2 minutes. Derrick Rose will have an MVP type season this year.
Oh yeah,
he will be back like MVP form. He will not win MVP, but you could say that he deserves it the way he'll play. It won't be too much of a slip up for him. Related to the Bulls, though, they will be traded. They will be traded. They will be tempted to trade Luol Deng by February's trade deadline.
I've heard they want LeBron. They're interested in picking him up by getting rid of Luol Deng.
And one time I wanted to be 7 feet tall, and you see how that worked out. They can want LeBron, but he's not coming there. All right, another bold prediction. Miami Heat, they're not going to three-peat this year. And we'll get into that later when the Eastern Conference and the finals talk, but they will not three-peat because Derrick Rose is not healthy. I mean Derrick Rose. Dwayne Wade is not healthy. Bro, I'm talking about Derrick Rose. All right.
Well, he might not end up being healthy. You never know with him.
Yeah, exactly. So my fault, D Rose, if I sent you some bad vibes on accident.
He's a mutual contact as well.
Yes.
We are learning on C4 Sports. Darius is our contact man.
Yeah,
He was
I
all hooked
got
up.
a few mutual contacts. That's just through just being out on the streets. Just communicating with the people. I don't aim to be a people pleaser, but I please the people. That's how I look.
I like that.
Yeah. Let's see. A few more bold predictions. I only got 3 more. Number 1, Oklahoma City. If they don't make a major trade this year, they're gonna lose in the first round. Y'all heard me say that they are a 3 seed. I got them as the 3rd team in the West, and I got them. So in the first round, they will play Memphis at number 6. They're gonna lose to Memphis in the first round if they don't make a trade because the bench is horrible. And Kevin Durant, I mean, he can, as much as he wants to, do what he can. He's gonna be great, but Russell Westbrook is hurt coming into this year. And then you got to look after that. It's going to take time for them to adjust to playing again together. And then with no bench, it's going to be a struggle.
I do not like Ibaka either. He really disappointed me in the playoffs last year, especially when they came out and chose him over Harden, and Harden shows up MVP candidate All-Star, and Ibaka just kind of. What did he shoot, like 10% in their
I don't know,
playoffs?
He was
he went 0 of like 15 until he made a bucket, made a field goal.
He was horrible. Then, let's see. I got the Knicks losing in the first round also this year. That's a bold prediction. And I feel like a lot of fire is going to be on Carmelo Anthony's head, the so-called superstar. It's going to be a lot of fire on that man's head. I think he's going. There's only 2 options. He's either going to be weak like Dwight, and he's going to run from the pressure and leave New York in free agency, which I personally don't see him doing, or he's going to get strong mentally and stay. And I really haven't known Carmelo. I don't have I'm not a fan of his anymore because we had a personal, relationship breakdown.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I do. But he's not. He's never been mentally weak to me, so I don't feel like he'll run from the pressure. But he has to get smarter with his game. And my last bold prediction is that the Boston Celtics, Ryan, the team you picked to be an 8th seed, they're going to purposely blow the season starting December 31st. I feel like the first month and a half they'll be playing decent basketball. And I feel like they're going to end up, sabotaging the team on purpose because they're not going to win the title. So they're going to try and, get a good pick in his upcoming draft.
You think they sit Rondo the whole year?
I don't think that he'll even let that happen. Rondo. Yeah. I think they might end up moving him because I've never liked Rajon Rondo.
Neither have I. I'm not a Rondo fan at all.
I'm not. But I mean, he's a decent point guard, but he's like a cancer almost to the team.
Yep.
I don't really mess with him.
I don't think he's a leader. I think he's just got a negative attitude.
As far as I see it, he ran everybody out of town. We know for real he ran Ray Allen out. He had a part to do with that. Him and Doc Rivers clashed a lot. Doc ended up leaving. And then you see after Doc, KG didn't want to be there. And then Paul and KG left. So I think he
Doc might have been the buffer, especially for Pierce and Garnett between them and Rondo. And then the buffer's gone like, we want no part of that.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's all the bold predictions I have. I don't know if y'all have any,
You took a couple. You talked about the Cavs being a sneaky little pick in the East. I don't have the Heat winning the East in the regular season.
Yeah, okay.
Or in the playoffs.
Yep.
I think Derrick Rose comes back stronger than ever.
Right.
I know it's only preseason, but I love what I've seen out of him. And then I'll go West Coast, LA. I've got 2 bold ones here. I've got Doc Rivers winning Coach of the Year.
Okay, I can definitely go with that.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree.
And you'll see why I agree with that when I mention who my MVP is.
Correct. I think he takes a bunch of great players brought in and makes them a true team. He did that in Boston, got them a title. I think he can do just about the same thing in Clipperland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the other team in the building, the Lakers. Kobe's going to be coming off of an Achilles injury.
Yep.
There's a lot of press about him being rated 25 in a recent poll by ESPN.
I got a problem with that too.
I do have a problem with it right now, but I think age is starting to catch up with Kobe.
Really? I think it's catching up with the Lakers. I actually, in the ESPN magazine, the current issue with LeBron on the cover, they do a preview, and their headline, they have a headline for every team. The headline for the Lakers was my favorite one. It made me laugh. It says they have the best lineup in the NBA, ... if this was 2006.
Right. I just think too much weight's going to be put on his shoulders, and I know he's Kobe. He's definitely in the top 5 of all time in my book. I don't see him returning to his old form. I see him as a 20 and 7 assists guy. the assist might actually go up.
Okay.
I think he might try to build other players.
I think you might see his
him.
field goal percentage go up because
Correct.
he can't bail himself
Right.
out with those turnaround jumpers or
Right.
floaters in the lane.
Right. And this was the topic I believe on First Take this week. Who do you want taking the last shot?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Kobe
from the magazine, I think.
Or the magazine?
It was something like
Yeah,
that.
like the players or something, but they did talk about
Right.
it first take, yeah.
Kobe Bryant's still my guy
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
They talked about Durant or LeBron. Kobe's still the guy I want taking the last shot.
And can we just talk about this real quick? Because I'm happy you brought this up. And I know we only got like 16 minutes left, but let's get this in real quick. When did it become cool to disrespect Kobe Bryant? Like, I've seen so much
Right.
disrespect to this man by all these you got the GM saying that James Harden's a better shooting guard than him. Now, let me say this. I've never been a fan of Kobe.
Yeah.
And for many years, I didn't even respect him. Because he was a lame. Like, just straight, like, no.
Well,
Like,
I did not respect him after he was accused of raping.
oh, well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my stuff was before that. You know, me being an AI fan, we represent the real
Yeah.
over here. You know, Kobe was not part
He
of
was
the
a
real.
little punk
Yeah,
when he was a
yeah,
kid.
exactly.
Yeah.
He was a little bit. He wasn't. But after the Team USA won, you know, in 08,
Yeah.
I started building my respect for him, and slowly but surely, right now I got full respect for that man. I think it's a part of a reflection. Sports Illustrated had the cover before last. They had Kobe on it, and they said the last of the Alpha Dogs. And it's a good piece to read. But you look back at the league that we have today, Kobe is basically the last of the type of players we grew up on. Because Tim Duncan is quiet; he's not an alpha. Kevin Garnett's productivity has fallen big
Yeah.
time. The guys we grew up on, AI, T-Mac, Shaq, those guys are gone.
Right.
He's the last of the players that I respect. I'm a trash talk in your face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna light you up. I don't understand where all this disrespect comes from. I got big time respect for Kobe. I'm not a fan, but like I said, I got big time respect for him. I think he's gonna come back personally. I hope that he doesn't come back. And he said he'll never do like Michael Jordan did with the Wizards, come back and not be all that good and still put up numbers. I hope that's not what he ends up doing. But I don't know. I think he can come back strong. But I hope he doesn't rush it this year because they're not playing for anything. The Lakers just said they're gonna let him be a free agent this year, and then they're gonna end up, spending money elsewhere, and then bringing him back for next season. That's all I wanted to say because that's just been bugging me.
Yeah, we don't have too much time, so I'll just make it quick. I am not a Kobe Bryant fan at all. I think he is insanely overrated, both now and of all time. That said, he is arguably a top 10 player. I've got him right outside the top 10 right now, but that's a different discussion for a different day. I think when it's done, when he retires, I'll have him in my top 10.
Yeah.
But I do not like the guy at all. He's my least favorite player, but to have him at 25 is just wrong. That's wrong.
Disrespectful.
I mean, I respect the guy for what he's done on the court, even though I might not like him and do claim he's overrated, but to have him at 25, the injury or not, I think is wrong. He's just got the track record before him to prove that that's just not true. That's all I'll say because we've only got just over 10 minutes left to finish up our NBA preview.
I have 4 bold predictions, and I'll make them real quick. Oklahoma City is going to have a lot of hardware at the end of this year.
What they gonna do? Go to Home Depot or something?
No, they are going to win some. They're going to win some championships and some MVPs.
What team
Yes.
are you looking at? Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oklahoma City Thunder, because they're going to be better prepared this year with Durant because they know where Westbrook is. It's not injured at the end of the year, and they have no question for him. They're going to prepare for Durant in the beginning, and then they're going to have a game plan when Westbrook comes back. Their bench might be horrible,
Yeah, you can't win without
but
that.
this is my bold prediction. This is my bold prediction. So don't come in on Oklahoma City is going to win some trophies and some MVPs. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be in the same way. I like what they're doing. The Brooklyn Nets are going to
Too old.
upset.
Oh my goodness!
think.
Yeah,
And
they're going to upset
Howard,
you.
Dwight Howard is going to come back to his old self, like he was in Orlando.
Yeah,
He's going to.
I can see that one.
He's going to be in the talk. I think he's going to be in the talk of MVP.
Okay.
Don't know if that's going to be, if he's going to get it. And here's my boldest, and you're not going to like this at all. So just be quiet.
I can't promise you that.
Darren Williams will be nipping at the heels of Chris Paul with assists and being the point guard, of being a great point guard. Williams is going to finally, even though they're old, he's finally got the weapons to just hand it off and make the passes like he should be able to. He's going to be nipping at the heels of Paul, and if they're not talking about that by the end of the season, then shame on the NBA because they're just all about Chris Paul. And I know you're not.
I said you was good. What you mean they all about Chris Paul?
I think he's going to change it this year. And I know I'm an Illini guy. It's not because of that.
That's what
I think we got to the bottom of that.
We got.
Dude, Aaron Williams is going to be right. Like I said, nipping at the heels of Chris Paul as the best point guards in NBA.
So what happened to Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose, he's a point guard, but.
He's a combo guard.
Yeah, he's a combo with a point guard. I think of assists and points here and there when he can't. Pure point guard. Yeah. Deron Williams is going to be there.
The only pure point guards in the NBA are really Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo, and also Ricky Rubio as well when he's healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought up the MVP talk because that's what we'll go into right now. I'll save mine for last because I've also got some All NBA first team and second team predictions that I'll go through real quick. Ryan, let's go with you because we got about 10 minutes left.
I have Durant winning the MVP. I think with Westbrook being gone for a little bit, he's going to show what he's truly made of, and they're going to work around him to help him do that. And the streak of LeBron James winning another MVP is over.
I'm going to keep drinking that Clippers juice out there. I've got Chris Paul winning MVP.
Yes, sir.
He's got so many weapons around him. I just think he puts up ridiculous assist numbers this year. And I think he does it with the points too. I think that's the next step for the Clippers is Chris Paul scoring the basketball.
Oh my goodness, man! I swear you were out there with me when we was talking about this. Chris Paul for MVP. Doc Rivers is gonna let this man know you gotta score more, man. Because he can score with the best of them, but he likes passing off to Blake Griffin too much. And he's finally going to realize this year you can't be giving Blake Griffin the ball in the post. Chris Paul is going to add the scoring and the assists like he did in New Orleans. He's going to win MVP this year.
I think if they lower Blake Griffin's role, then you could definitely see that. I've got a kind of a split for mine at 5. I'll go through my top 5. I got Kyrie Irving, my breakout player, with Chris Paul. I do think Chris Paul has a breakout year, but I don't know if it's good enough to get him an MVP because of those weapons. I do think it can hurt him, take away from his numbers, maybe help his assists, but lower his points, which that's kind of the first stat you like to look at it in MVP is the points per game, whether it's right or not, I don't know. 4, we have one of my favorite players, James Harden. I had him finishing 5th last year. I think he bumps it up to 4th this year with the addition of Dwight Howard. Derrick Rose at 3. I think he has one of his best seasons yet. But when it comes down to it, there are 2 players who are far and above better than everybody else in the NBA. That is Kevin Durant at 2, and I got to go with my boy LeBron. I mean, there's nobody even close to as good as them right now. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed shot with MVP. You never know. Like Derrick Rose came out of nowhere in 2011 to take it from him, but he does everything well. He's can score at will, rebounds the ball. Arguably the best passer in the NBA. Arguably the best defender. He's by far away the best player in the NBA, and I'm just making the safe pick and giving him the MVP. I'm also biased, I can admit that, but I think I've got a lot of precedent to back that up with. I just don't see anybody taking it from him. I think the biggest threat to LeBron is voter fatigue. What we saw happen to Michael Jordan in the 90s.
That's why I didn't pick him this year.
Yeah, I think that'll be. A lot of people, especially coming from Chicago, a lot of people are picking Derrick Rose. Honestly, I think the reason Derrick Rose might win it is because of voter fatigue. He's the popular pick this year, and if it's close between LeBron and Rose, I think Rose wins it. Whether it's fair or not, that's up for everybody else to individually decide. But if it's close, I think Rose wins it this year because he is the popular pick. And we see Karl Malone in 97, Charles Barkley in 93.
Charles deserved it in 93. Now, Malone in 97.
It should have been. I feel both of those years it should have been Jordan, and it's called the Michael Jordan effect. I've seen many articles talking about LeBron James having some Jordan effect in the 90s because I saw one GM say he should win the next 10 MVPs without injury.
You couldn't argue about it either.
So I'm making the safe pick. I'm going with my boy, my idol, LeBron. I just don't see anybody knocking him off. For my all-NBA teams, real quick, I got the 2 guards on the first team. I got Derrick Rose and James Harden. 2 forwards, Durant, LeBron. Center, I actually got Marc Gasol from the Grizzlies. Second team, I got Adam and Darius's boy, Chris Paul, along with Kyrie Irving as the 2 guards. Melo and Paul George as my 2 forwards, and Dwight Howard at center. And with the final about 6 minutes, we come to this. The conference finals and the NBA champion of C4 Sports for the 2014 season. Yeah. Who wants to be the first one?
I'll be the first. I want to get this out of the way.
Kobe over here. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're let Kobe Bryant go.
I have Oklahoma City facing the Spurs, and I have Oklahoma City winning. On the other side, I have Bulls versus Brooklyn, and I have Brooklyn winning. I'm going with Brooklyn.
So that's Brooklyn versus
Oklahoma City, and I have Oklahoma City winning it.
Okay. All right.
Just because I think Oklahoma, they might not have a lot of bench, but they have enough.
Keep track of that. Everybody's got to keep track of who you pick. We might not have the same group next semester, or it'll actually be over the summer break when this happens, but I want to hear from all of you, and we'll see. We'll see who.
That means Ryan, you have to get a Twitter because we can. We have. Twitter.
I will get a Twitter. Okay? I had a hard time with his Twitter handler and username the same thing, and I couldn't think of it. Okay, so I will get one by.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
By Christmas break. I promise.
All right, Adam, your pick for this year, the 2014 champion.
All right, in the East, I have the Pacers over the Heat. I just think I go back to what they did. Granger coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Scola, maybe I'm hyping him up too much. I think that's enough to put him up and over the Heat in the East. And then in the West, I'm still vibing with the LA Clippers over the Warriors.
Ooh.
I think the Warriors bust over the hump this year. Going back, Matt, Andre Iguodala. I forgot about him in the early part of the show, but I really like what he brings. He is mini LeBron. He'll get you that 28 and 8 if you need it.
And his jump shot, his 3-point shooting is heavily improved.
Right. I don't think it's enough to take down the multifaceted Clippers. And then I actually have the Pacers over the Clippers. I think they're the most complete team in the NBA. Honestly, the Pacers are.
You can make that argument.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
Their starting five is solid. Point guard may be a little shaky with George Hill at the realm, but I think people are going to mention George Hill in possibly the top 10 point guards.
I think with the Pacers, you have to nitpick at what's bad with them. Like, really, George Hill, at least of the starting five, the big players, he's the only one you can make a case against. But I think that's just kind of nitpicking. If you have to nitpick, you have a good case for somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll go with my conference finals. I got the Bulls beating the Pacers. So that means I got the Pacers knocking off the Heat in round 2. I feel like they can do it, but I don't feel like they can beat the Bulls, though. It's just crazy how that matchup works. I have the Warriors beating the Clippers out west. And let me just say right now, real quick, I don't like Andre Iguodala. Just like with Carmelo, we had a personal problem. He tried to diss somebody, that's like blood to me. So that was Allen Iverson. You diss AI, you dissing me. So I ain't cool with all that. And then in the finals, I got the Bulls beating the Warriors. I don't really know if I'm going to agree with what I just said like 10 minutes from now, but that's kind of what happened.
You'll hear, keep it tuned to the Urban Show that comes on after this. You might hear Darius crash in through the door and jump on the mic.
Exactly. If you just hear somebody yell out security, then you know what it's all about. But there you go. I got the Bulls winning the title this year.
All right, that comes to me. I kind of have multiple different predictions. My official prediction with what I'm gonna go with is the Bulls over the Pacers in 7 games in the East, the Spurs over the Clippers in 6 games in the West, and then the NBA Finals, I got Spurs over my hometown Chicago Bulls in 7 games. But kind of the 2 different scenarios I have, I think if the Warriors get it together, they make it to the conference finals, and they lose in 6 games to the Spurs instead of the Clippers, because it's interesting you're on Chris Paul when you're so critical of Melo not having success in the playoffs. I feel the same is true for Chris Paul, and that's why, like I said, the Clippers are the best team. They're the most talented team, and they should be the best team in the West, but I'm hesitant to pick them because they have not, specifically Chris Paul, but also the Clippers as well. They have not shown it to me yet. Like the Knicks, they should have been like I said last year, I had the Knicks in the conference finals, but they choked eventually to the Pacers. So until the Clippers show me what they can do, I'm hesitant to pick them. They should beat the Spurs. They should come out of the West, but I am not ready to pick them yet. I might be wrong by the end of the season, but we'll see. So it might be the Warriors, and also if the Bulls get hurt, I like the Pacers. If Rose is not able to stay healthy, dang, Noah, we'll see what happens, which has been the past 2 years. If the Bulls are not able to stay healthy, which I think is their biggest Achilles heel this year, is themselves. I think they're more likely to beat themselves than get beat. I got the Pacers over the Heat in the conference finals, and the Pacers then to take down the Spurs in the finals. So, but my official pick is the Spurs over the Bulls, and the Spurs are the 2014 champs. So there you go, everybody.
Yes,
any before we wrap it up, we got about a minute left before Urban comes on. Anybody got any final thoughts as we get ready? Tuesday night, Heat versus Bulls.
Yes, sir.
The game,
First
the
of
matchup
all,
I hate.
Yeah, I got the Heat winning this first game, and then also make sure October 30th it's gonna be a weak game, but make sure y'all tune in and support AI. He's announcing his retirement officially at the Sixers home opener. They're gonna get blown out by the Heat, but make sure y'all watch it. Hey man, don't put your finger in the air and try to get past that. Allen Iverson is a cultural icon on this planet. That man deserves more respect.
Well, I'm with you. I'm a big AI fan, so that'll be something to watch.
I like to compound on the AI thing. He's not necessarily my kind of player, but I respect him being who he is.
Absolutely.
And he absolutely deserves to retire a 76er.
And I'm going to end with, I'm going to make the NBA season a living heck for Darius
Oh, God.
with my debate.